Hi, and welcome back to Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast brought to you by a couple tired dads and some other tired guys, too. I'm
No,
your
three
host.
tired dads at least.
There we go.
We've got a quorum of tired dads.
I'm your host, Benny, and with me, as mostly usual, sometimes, always, and occasionally new.
I'm Heath.
I'm James. And our special guest is someone that I have been hanging out with for well over 2 years and is an awesome dude. It's Jared, the citizen of Lorcana.
Whoop whoop. Man, this is my first time being back since stepping away. So thanks for having me.
No problem. Have you ever done a podcast before?
No, not. This is kind of a new territory for me here. Yes, of course. That's where James and I hung out.
That's right. Every week. So this is funny. So this is from what I understand, the 100th episode of the Overexerted podcast.
It is.
And that is one thing that Jared and I don't think we actually did anything about it, because like number 100 just went right by and we didn't even notice.
Well, I think you guys number your episodes, right? And I didn't, so it just kind of slipped away from me.
Yeah. Which is fine.
See, if you don't number your episodes, you should have just been like, yeah, this one's totally 100.
Hindsight. Okay.
Who's going to go back and count them up? You know?
If we start the podcast back up, we'll start with number 100 then.
There you go.
There we go.
Number one.
Like
we'll
say 200.
We'll just say it's like 150, 200, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I think
who's counting? Who's going to go back and be like, call you out on it?
I think Martin Karp actually counted them out as well.
Oh my gosh.
He
of course it did. He definitely would.
He has to. He knows.
All right. So guys, what are we going to talk about tonight? Jared's here. Jared, I noticed that you have continued to tweet about Lorcana.
Yes.
Among other things. So you have been keeping your finger a little bit on the pulse of the Lorcana community, a lot on the pulse. What's your level of in-depth in what's happening in Lorcana?
Right now, it's just a little bit on the pulse, like the big news that I see. When I see people talking about it, I tweet it out. But there's just been some stuff in my personal life that's gone on that's really taken my attention away. So but when I see big news, I can't help but not tweet about it.
So you know all the world's news, the formats, that we're getting, all that kind of stuff happening around worlds and everything, right?
I know we are going to get a chance to get a whole new world promo on December 12th through the 14th when the Infinity format is officially introduced.
Well, is it officially introduced? I think so apparently during the broadcast, Greg is like, well, we wanted to do it earlier, but this was the first weekend that could actually happen with a majority of game stores. And it's like, so basically, so yes.
Did they send out a questionnaire? Be like, what weekend works for you guys?
No, it was a Calendly invite.
So what's happening? So Infinity becomes a thing the instant that rotation happens.
Yeah.
But I think this is like, from what we understand so far, this is the first official Infinity thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I think going back to Jared's point would make it the official launch.
Unless they announce a DLC at Worlds that's happening before December and they have side events for it, which we won't know until Worlds happens and we get the schedule.
Yeah, but any DLC that's not on the West Coast doesn't count. So
Can I?
Sorry, East Coasters.
Can I petition to call the format just Disney Infinity in honor of the video game that I used to love?
That was
right?
Good.
I mean, I'm going to call it Disney Infinity, right?
There we go. And I'll bring one of my toy
figurines. Yeah.
That's your lore counter.
I'll bring one of the little discs and put it under my deck and power it up.
Oh my goodness. You should definitely have one of the figurines as your hand protector, since we can't use dice technically officially anymore.
Right.
There we go.
Whenever you play Infinity.
As Jared mentioned, it's going to be an event that Ravensburger is sponsoring, similar to how they do Set Chance. They're going to send a kit to local stores to run one Infinity championship / event, whatever, with 40 A Whole New World non-foil promos. And they can run it anytime December 12th through the 14th. And all participants are to get one Whole New World promo.
Question.
Yes, Heath.
Back in school. Who here realistically thinks that unless they live in a small town where there's only like 2 or 3 LGSs, that they're actually going to be able to hand out all 40? Because like where I'm at, there's like a dozen within a quick drive. So like they're not getting 40. They're getting 16, 20, because there's simultaneously there's going to be 3 or 4 other stores.
So everybody
running
gets
this
2?
event.
And then just make sure you coordinate with 2 stores to hold them on different days and go to 2 and you get a playset.
Oh, I'm going
That's
to
big brain.
3. I'll take
Yeah, I'm gonna
6.
go. I'm gonna go to at least 4.
Yeah.
You know, and
That
just
was-
do them like. Yeah, so
That was
Yeah,
going to be
that's
one of
the
my
thing. There's like a
questions.
morning one, an evening one on
Right.
all 3 days. Like,
hey, look, if I
Or-
have to, I'll go to one that starts at 10 and one that starts at noon, and just collect my promo and like move on.
we're pulling an NA Continentals again. Just
Yeah.
at the event, get my promo, get out onto the next one.
Exactly. I mean,
Oh.
That was going to be
I
one of
want-
my questions. I know like people are very attached to their cards being worth money. And I know a lot of people were really excited to be able to go to Worlds because not everyone's going to get that opportunity and get these promos. And hopefully they'd be like the NACC promos. So again, since I'm not super plugged in, are people upset about the availability of this promo?
I don't think so. I think the number of them that's getting sent out is actually a good thing. I mean, we're getting
Yeah.
40
I'm
per
asking if that's
store.
what people are upset about because they're not going to be worth much money.
I think because they don't have
Yeah.
to win them, because it's a participation thing, right? Like if they were winning them and it wasn't worth much money, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
But no, I haven't heard that backlash at all.
Yeah,
All I know is
yeah.
everyone I've talked to said they're going to like as many stores as possible trying to get a playset.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not anticipating they're going to be worth much. I just think they're beautiful art, and
Yeah,
it's a card
I
that I
want-
like. So
I want 4 to put in my deck because in Infinity form, whenever I play Infinity at that point, I want the cool card in my deck.
Yeah.
That's all there
That's
is
why
to
I
it.
want 5.
this is what I
Yeah,
keep
exactly,
saying about
5.
promos. I want promos I can play. Like I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
actually
playable
want promos
promo.
to be like worth 600 USD because then I can't justify playing it. I like that like 100 or less price point for promos because then I can actually justify playing them.
Speaking of which, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to old Lorcana cards. I call them old Lorcana cards, even though it's like 2 years.
They're already those vintage, you know.
So I actually filled out the rest of my enchanted set for set 1. I'm done.
Nice.
Hopefully no fakes. But like the Tinkerbell I was trying to get for a while, Giant Fairy. I had a D23 set and somebody's like, "Oh, those are like $400 Canadian. I'll trade you for my Tinkerbell Giant Fairy." And I was like, I do have an extra one, so maybe no, I can't do it. I need it. And then they backed out of the trade when I finally said yes. But then I went and looked at them recently and they're like 200 and something bucks. I'm like, wow.
Canadian.
I think they're
Yep.
270 Canadian or something like that. But I'm like, they've plummeted.
Yep.
And like
Yeah.
all the enchanteds have plummeted. But then even I was with Mikey and he was picking up he's like, "Oh, I want to pick up an Elsa." And then they couldn't come to an agreement. So then it was like, "Well, can we swap out the Stitch for the Elsa?" And it was the Rockstar Stitch promo. And even that's like way down. It used to be like $800 American and now it's 300. It's like,
Yeah.
how the mighty have fallen.
I anticipate for at least the next 2 or 3 years, the prices will be down on them because they've rotated out. And though,
Yeah.
I mean, Giant Fairy hasn't, but it just means that there'll be more of them out. And there's, you know, the other promos and all that. But I just think that people were overall just reacting a lot to the set rotation, and so people have flooded the market with stuff for sale, and eventually it'll bounce back up. So 2 or 3 years from now, I anticipate it'll be shot back up again, because they'll just be the collectability of these older cards that are then actually old. Yeah, I think specifically the first chapter Enchanteds are going to, over time, be quite valuable. Even the garbage ones.
There's no such thing as a garbage enchanted from the first chapter.
There definitely is.
They're all beautiful. They're all good-looking cards.
There
my
is. I mean,
my entire foil set will be PSA 10 when I send it away finally, and then it'll be done. I will finally be done.
Not the art.
3 years later, I'll finally be done.
Do the two of you have any thoughts about the value? Do you care? Do you follow that? Does it matter to you?
I don't think Jared. It's never really mattered to Jared, right?
No, I was never in it for the money. I'll probably hold on to. I have a hard time parting ways. I mean, I'm the guy who bought like 8 D23 sets with the intention of selling them, and I gave one to my son, gave one to Martin over in Germany, and then I opened one, so I still have 5 that are just sitting here.
What that means is that he can always break them open. Now he's basically thinking, I can break them open someday when I am building that Oswald deck finally.
There
so
you
we
go.
can have a play set of Oswalds and still have 1 or 2 sealed.
Yeah, there you go.
For me, as a collector, I do like my stuff to be worth something, but it's just a number. It's like, hey, look, that stuff's worth something, cool, and then it just sits there and is worth something.
It's only a loss when you sell. Same with stocks, same with any assets.
Yeah. And since like 90% of the stuff I buy is not to sell, almost all the stuff I have stacked up in my collection is so I can have a collection of Lorcana. And unless something happens, it's staying mine forever. So having it worth something, it just feels better than if it's not worth something. That's all.
I will say it was a little sad when I saw the value of like Rapunzel Gifted Healer, knowing that I paid like $50, $60 per copy back when the first chapter came out. Like that did hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to become the routine now that there is rotation. Your cards are your core constructed cards are going to shoot up in value in the short term and then just start petering out towards rotation. Obviously they'll spike here and there as playability changes with new cards being introduced, but on the average, that's going to be the kind of average play out of it, which is very common for Magic players. I wonder if our fellow content creators that do content on the card markets have suffered since then. Because, for example, I used to watch Lorcana Goons every week around the card market because I was just interested of how it was going. But ever since the set rotation got announced, I'm like, I'm just going to completely separate myself from it because I don't really care until the older sets become old enough that they become interesting again, right? They're all cratered now, and that's fine. But eventually they'll start bumping back up again just based on a combination of nostalgia, or maybe Infinity takes off or something like that, at which point I'll be interested again.
Well, so Benny and I think, are the only 2 out of us right now that collect everything. Like, we buy every card that comes out. We collect all 204 in the set. We usually get a play set, sometimes plus an extra.
Looking pained.
Yeah, right.
I was pained, but like I bought a Sisu and some Clarabelles like 2 months ago, and I remember that kind of hurt. And then I looked at them recently, and they're like $8, and I'm like, oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
I'm glad I spent 25 on each of those cards.
The great news is Infinity is going to be a really cheap format to play.
Yeah.
Oh, also, hashtag bring back Hiram. Just saying.
Anyways,
Hiram.
I think
sorry,
we were getting to a point
Hiram.
that we tangented you on.
What I was gonna say is, if you feel like getting on tangents.
What is that? What are we looking at?
This is another TCG that I have recently jumped into.
No,
For those who aren't watching, Benny, what did you just hold up?
I just held up a pack of Sword Art Online, Union Arena, which is a trading card game, but it's basically you get one anime, and that is your entire deck. Basically choose your favorite and go from there.
No.
I decided to buy some packs simply because I like the anime, and it pains me to say I might be going into the deep end because
I will not be tempted by League of Legends. I will not be tempted by League of Legends.
You
I will
know,
not be tempted by League of Legends.
you are going to be tempted by League of Legends. Have you read any of Eric's articles over at the Gamer?
I did after he gave me the heads up that he liked it. I went and read the articles, and
He loves it. He loves it. It's like if you go read any articles or like on the Riftbound page, there are certain specific things that they're doing that I feel like are very specifically like we just watched Lorcana happen for the last 2 years, and we're gonna not make the mistakes that they're making. So like on the page that they just posted like this week, it's like we know that rotation and people's cards are very, very important to them, and so we're announcing that rotation is happening, but won't happen until 2028 at the earliest. And they're like, so like where Lorcana didn't announce rotation until 4 months before, it was going to happen. They're announcing it 3 years before it's going to happen.
And what, a 60-page rule book?
60-page rule book has already been posted. Rules are already out. Judge program is in planning.
Yeah. Cash prize tournaments.
The tournaments have already been announced for how you can get to Worlds.
But I think this is the difference. I think this is the difference when you have a card game that is produced by a card game company. I think they're aware that
company. They're a game company who has run many events for League of Legends, the video game. So they have a lot of experience in everything except for the very specific TCG thing. But like everything around it, they have experience in.
But they're partnering with the people that do UVS, so I mean they have that experience with them.
Exactly.
Whereas I don't know. You could go back and listen to probably both of our podcasts and be like, man, is it going to be rotation? Is it going to be eternal? When are we getting a judge program? People are still wondering about a judge program. So the fact that they're already communicating that.
Have they communicated?
I have a little bit of envy right now.
Right? Yeah, it's just like it feels like Riftbound is the game that Lorcana fans were hoping all of the things around the game would happen in Lorcana. So
I will not be tempted. I will not be tempted.
I'm gonna basically just yank all of Eric's extra cards and play.
Hey, I'm gonna have the first public access up here. I guess Benny, you and I both. It's coming to Vancouver, I think July 12th or something like that.
Pick up some stuff for me.
I'm looking for one thing. I'm only looking for one thing.
This is our Riftbound podcast.
I'm only looking for Trindamere cards. That's it.
I've never played League of Legends in my life. I only know from Arcane.
What?
Arcane is awesome.
Yeah, I'm with Heath. I've watched Arcane, and that's my experience with the.
For me, Arcane is like one of the best TV shows ever made.
So when I played League of Legends back in the day, back when it was less toxic, Trindamere was like the best player in the game. He could spin through walls. He could go invincible for 5 seconds, which in a game where you are just bashing is the best moves you can have. And yeah, it was a great.
So you're telling me he had evasive for 5 seconds,
right?
he had evasive for 5 seconds. For my Magic people out there, he had lifesteal when you gave him the right sword.
That's not a Magic term. Thank you very much.
What's it called? Sorry, vampiric.
So they usually refer to it colloquially as draining. When you take life from someone and you gain life.
Sorry.
Drain you for 1.
Yeah. So it was the best character you could have. Best. And then they nerfed him into the ground, and I stopped playing.
No, James, you can't do it. You can't do it, James. You can't pull it back. No,
So let me
this
ask
is
you
no longer
something,
a
because
Lorcana podcast.
when I'm on Twitter and I post something that's non-Lorcana related, I will usually have people like, I got this really cool card in the Pokemon Pocket TCG game, and I posted it,
Yeah.
and I had people like, why are you posting this? You're only supposed to post Lorcana. So do people roast you when you go off on tangents like this?
Not
I
yet.
don't know.
Nobody's watching to roast us, so you know.
uh,
Might have something
hold
to do
on.
with that disorganization and
Where's that knife? Ah!
no, I'm just saying since I started. I don't know about you guys before.
Oh, okay.
You and Charles did fine.
I mean, it's fair. The knife's not in the back. It's straight in the chest.
I mean, I don't. We don't have your following. You know, I have never gotten roasted in my life for saying anything about anything, mostly because I
Yeah.
have like 500 followers on Twitter. So
You were your draft stuff, I see you growing.
Mm-hmm,
Absolutely.
sure. But I mean, I think it's whoever is judging you out there, like, shame on them, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you're talking about Lorcana because you want to talk about Lorcana. But if you want to talk about other things, talk about other things. For me, it's just that I can't afford more than one obsession at a time.
I know.
Yeah.
When they said, why are you posting about another card game? I was like, because it's a cool card.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all that matters is what do you enjoy? You are a trading card game podcast. You're talking about trading card games.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I've
if
talked
we-
about Kingdom Hearts on here. That has nothing to
if
do
you
with
are watching
Lorcana.
/ listening and we didn't lose you, mention it in the comments. James, do you want to bring it back?
How could I?
Well,
What's
World is coming up.
Worlds is coming up.
Thank you,
It's coming
Jared.
up in 3 weeks.
I'm so
Okay,
red
so
right now.
what else did we have to announce? We had the whole new world that's coming.
Mhm.
What was the other thing that we had
The
for
Golden Mickey.
the golden? Okay, I have a bone to pick with people who are like way super excited that they revealed a piece of the golden Mickey, and I'm like, they showed it. They showed the picture of the image of it at D23, the
Yeah.
whole thing. I'm like, we know what it looks like, people. It's
Yeah.
just, I guess that's just like, oh, we saw the actual card. It looks like it's made of real gold. I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, it's cool, yeah. But I mean, everyone was acting like it was brand new, and I'm like, but we saw it.
D23 was so long ago, James. People probably forgot who weren't there.
Probably.
Or those
Boy,
of us who
you
went
talk
for a
about this
day.
community, we forget nothing. It's like you told us a year ago that Worlds was going to be in March.
And we could
You
come,
can
and now we
gaslight us
can't.
all you want,
Ooh.
Brownsburger, but we remember.
But yes, we got the golden Mickey. There was like a 30-second like sizzle reel
cool.
for Worlds that we
So
saw
cool.
during the Lorecast, and it shows it like in shadow. It's like a little piece of it, and it's a 1-of-1 card that's going to be very valuable for the person who wins it.
Somebody's winning the lottery.
So what are you guys doing for Worlds?
Getting up super early because we got also when it starts, and it starts at 8 a.m. Eastern.
8 a.m. Eastern?
8 a.m. Eastern is when the broadcast starts.
Good golly.
I'm going to be flying back from Toronto, so I'm going to miss the day one.
I'm gonna be in an area with no internet.
So both you and I are just going to find out after the fact.
I'll be on Sunday night after Worlds. I'll be on the podcast. Like, you guys will be like, so what happened?
Can you just regale us with everything that happened this weekend?
And I will be so tired because I got up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
That's nothing, James. That's nothing.
Yeah, the early riser over here.
Then again, I think I get back on. Oh no, wait, never mind. I was gonna say I think I get back Sunday by noon, but no, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to tell me everything.
So here's my thing, okay? I had already made plans because we didn't know when Worlds was, right? We all remember that saga.
For the longest time, yep.
So I'd already made plans because Pokemon Go Fest is that weekend, and my son really wants to do Pokemon Go Fest with me. So we will be Pokemon going it up. However, I can get up by 5 and watch before we go out a little bit.
Watch the first couple rounds, yep.
Yeah,
it's easy to get up at 5. We do that Monday to Friday anyways.
So
that guy.
On my
I gotta go there
way
every day.
to the hotel here today, I was listening to Zan's podcast, and they were talking about doing like a fantasy football style thing for Worlds. I'm like, please make that public because I would like to do that. That
Mhm.
sounds like a lot of fun.
You're drafting players. Is that what
Yeah.
we're doing?
Yeah.
Nice. It's interesting. I
Hey, we
watched.
could do that on here. Just saying.
I watched a bit
Yeah,
of
for Survivor.
Survivor. A bunch of the events that were happening this weekend. I think there was the World Class Cards event up in Wisconsin. There was Ink Inc. Somewhere, I don't remember where, and at the Encounter in the wherever Forbidden Mountain goes at one of their stores. And I did not see, as far as I can remember, a single Worlds qualified player playing. They are all like
Close to the
away.
chest.
They're just
Yeah.
like, I'm not showing anything.
Anything. Yeah.
So,
If they
but
come
that
to
is
these, they're
actually what
coming
I
with their
wanted to talk.
fourth best deck.
Yeah, I did want to talk about the World Class Cards event this weekend was done in triple deck format. And so it was like a preview of what we can expect for people to bring, and the decks that they're thinking of probably are going to be similar to these. But also the way, we all thought like there's going to be mind games of like, because you can bench a deck.
Yeah.
So both days of the World Class Cards event, like I'm pretty sure it was almost 100% of the time, whatever steel deck the person brought was benched for the match. So the person who ended up in first at the end of Swiss, one of his decks was Ruby Amber, and it was an aggro deck with using strength based, like with Flynn and the new Prince John. That's a 5/5 on turn 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and also I think using the new Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Where if you play a 5 strength character, you can exert it immediately for 2 lore.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting decks were brought out, and there was almost every single person I saw playing had one aggro deck, a steel deck, and then the deck they actually wanted to play, like Lurple or Ruby Sapphire. And they basically played the aggro deck when they went first, and then tried to win with their other good deck, knowing that the steel was going to get bounced. Until people figured it out, and in the top 8, they started benching the aggro deck to not give them an easy win.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was some really weird mind games going on, and interesting plays happening in this. It's going to be really interesting to see how these people navigate the decks, but expect steel to get the benched the most from what I saw, because that Steel Song and Emerald Steel mainly discard, both of which are the two of the stronger decks in the format, right?
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Was this streamed at all?
Yeah, it was streamed all weekend.
I gotta watch
Go back and look at it. Oh, so
yeah.
This is what I wanted to talk about though from that in today's game in the final. They didn't bench the player who ended up winning. They didn't bench his Emerald Steel deck. It was not discard. It was let me try and play some big bombs. He was playing Giant Mickey.
The 10 cost?
The 10 cost, 10/10, 5 lore, bodyguard, Giant Mickey. Let me tell you, you need to go watch. Once it's available, you need to watch that final match, because he got out in the game that won him the match. He got the Giant Mickey out, and then he used it in a manner that you wouldn't expect, because the opponent had Ruby Steel, and they each had like 7 characters on board, and either one of them could win in a turn or two. But the guy with the Giant Mickey made a play that won him the game, and it was amazing.
If you see the links to that before I do, you send that out, because
yeah,
I gotta watch
we'll talk
this.
about it next podcast if we don't see it. But I didn't want to spoil it, but just go watch it
Yeah.
because it's awesome. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that. And it's funny because I actually built that deck, a version of that deck to take to League tomorrow.
Yeah.
To try out, and I mean, it actually works, which is pretty awesome because you have 3 ways to get Mickey out. You got the Return of Hercules, you've got the Challenger Mickey, and you've got Hades, and all 3 of those work.
Oh my gosh.
Heath is
So
like,
that-
you're playing a deck
my
for
mind is blown
one
right
thing.
now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe that.
Okay,
So I did want to ask Jared something though.
Yes. Let's talk to Jared, who's our special guest tonight. We should be talking to him.
No, he's the window dressing.
Who's the one who's going to up our view count up to 5.
Right?
Oh, the self-deprecation. I love it. How have you like jumped into the Reign of Jafar at all?
No.
Or like have you been stepping back a little? I know you've been very busy, so I wanted to kind of see how your Lorcana journey is going.
No launch weekend sealed?
Nope, not this time. Wasn't able to make anything. No, I haven't. I actually haven't. I was at the store the other day and saw some, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should buy a pack," but I didn't.
Be strong. Willpower,
That's
man.
what to do.
Yeah, what you do is you save up all the buying of Reign of Jafar for Fabled. Obviously, that's what I feel like everyone is doing right now with how much I see on shelves.
I mean, Fabled looks really cool. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that there's gonna be a lot of reprinted cards in there, but I don't know. I'm excited for Fabled.
I would have liked at least alternate art if they were going to reprint so many, you know?
Yeah,
like the Captain Hook Forceful Duelist.
Yeah. But maybe we'll get some alternates, some just the same. Or I think we're going to get some reprint alternate arts as we go.
Can we get a reprint Flounder, please?
You know,
where he has an ability this time.
What?
I mean,
no, just the 1-cost tutus. Get me those for draft, man. I love me some flounders in draft.
Booyah.
That's the question that is the question I wanted to ask Jared. What is your opinion on whether or not Flounder should be reprinted in Fabled?
This was such an iconic card. Very important to the development and health and longevity of the game. There's absolutely no reason why they should not include Flounder in a reprint.
Well spoken. And I think that Ravensburger, if you're listening, I know that Fabled is already printed and, go heading to the warehouse. But, if you didn't reprint Flounder, guess what? It's going to give you a chance to do an alternate art in a future set because we need to keep the Flounder going.
Enchanted Flounder?
The set right after, Into the Fishing Well, right?
Into the fishing well.
If they can do Enchanted Honey Wizard, they can do Enchanted Flounder. I'm just saying.
Yes, right? And
Oh my
goodness.
What card deserves it more than Flounder?
I'm just thinking they are doing a honey wizard. Will they do a Flounder?
Yes.
It's a vanilla. Why, if they can do
Honey
Honey Wizard, they could do an Enchanted Flounder.
Right.
Could
Honey
you
Wizard's
imagine?
common. It's a vanilla. It's just a basic card. It's not even used. At least Flounder is used.
Mm-hmm. Flounder's seen itself in a couple of decks.
Yeah.
Really, for me, I'm so nostalgic for the days of the Flounder greater than memes. I miss those.
Oh
What
man.
was it? Maui, the 8/8 Maui. It was like 5 flounders are greater than the 1/8/8 Maui.
I think some of them I used the Scepter of Arendelle too to
Yeah.
supplement your strength.
Yeah.
One Flounder can take out Maui as long as you have something 7
A
cost.
6 power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maleficent plus Scepter of Arendelle.
Yes, exactly. Now we're talking. Flounder can find a way.
Yeah. I miss those days.
Jared, have you been able to tune in or rewatch any of the Lorecasts that they've been doing over the last few weeks?
They're always during the middle of my workday. But
Yeah.
the one that where they announced all the new stuff coming our way, I definitely tuned in as much as I could, and I went back and rewatched that one. And I just have to say, they upped their production value, their communication. Greg Tito absolutely
Yeah.
slayed it. But as far as the weekly Lorecast, honestly, I forget they're even a thing.
Yeah.
They've been doing a pretty good amount of news during those. They kick off every episode with at least one little like they probably think of it as like one little nugget of news, but for us, after 5 months of no news, like
Desert.
every bit of news is like, oh, they gave us like 2 new things of news, and it's like, this is awesome.
See, and that's what gives me hope. Like I think they heard the complaints during that time, and they got the right people in place, and they had this plan. They're like, we just need to get there, and then we'll give the community everything they want as far as communication and our plans going forward. I really feel like the relationship between Ravensburger and the community is in a much healthier place from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, before it was like a shot of water in the desert, and now it's like a flood of information.
It's true. Like, honestly, we're almost spoiled because it's almost like we get too much.
Yeah.
So this is where I want to give them credit, and also like call attention to something, which is I want to give them credit for the amount of communication, because I've been very critical of that. Always critical with love, putting that out there, but I've been critical of that, right? So great communication, but also I hope they don't feel compelled to bring like big news every week, because I'd love them to continue to do this every single week. So I just worry that if they do it every week, they're going to feel compelled to have big news every week, which will lead to them holding back on stuff that would be better out earlier, and or just them feeling that they have to make news to fill every week. Like I'd be fine if in off weeks they just do like the making of, like little documentary pieces or something like that, or like whatever. Just any points of interest. Doesn't have to be big news every week.
Or like invite some content creators, like a couple of Pacific Northwesterners on the Overexerted podcast into the studio to hang out for one of the recordings.
Benny, have you reached out to Greg yet?
True, you guys are right there.
Maybe.
I'll cover the hotel. You just have to make it happen.
Oh, sick! I'm in.
So speaking of which, I wanted to ask you guys, especially you, Benny. You had mentioned earlier that this is the 100th episode, which is a big deal. And first of all, I just wanted to say congratulations. That's like, I remember when we hit 100, like that's a lot of time, energy, and effort. People who don't do this don't realize just how much goes into it. So first of all, I just wanted to say congratulations, but what has been your overall takeaway? What's been like a highlight of your journey here?
Oh,
because I feel like you need the spotlight on you a little bit this episode.
You're gonna hear nothing but DL or the old dial-up modem sound coming out as I'm sitting here racking my brain.
Reverting back to his podcast host persona here. In the questions.
It has been a long journey. It's been sometimes tiring. I will admit there are definitely days where you were like, I could just go to bed right now instead of recording, and it would be a fantastic night. I would catch up on some sleep, or I could skip a week of news and not have to worry about it. But then at the same time, it's been absolutely wonderful. The community has been great. I've actually a lot of people that I talk to in like the Discord and, just share experiences with, like, including yourself. I know since before I even started podcasting, I was listening to you and James. It started off, I was listening to just you, and I believe I shared with you and James that, when you guys stopped, it was crazy to me, because it was like you were the first Lorcana podcast I listened to. And I remember at the one point where you said, I'm looking for a host if anybody's interested. And I was like, if he doesn't have a host by the next episode or by the newest episode, I'm going to finally reach out. I'll do it. I've never thought about this before, but I'll do it. And then it was like next episode, hey, and this is James. And I was like, all right, he found a host. So yeah, when you when you had the co-host, it was exciting. And then You guys were there obviously when we got started, Charles and myself, and yeah, I've been chatting with you ever since, back and forth, and it's been great. I'd say some of the highlights. A lot of the artist episodes that we've had, including the ones that we no longer have published.
Gotta right in the heart.
Including a recent one that was pretty good. Yeah, but a lot of our episodes that we've had where we've got to talk to the artist and kind of see behind the scenes, but not obviously not anything that they didn't want to, that they weren't allowed to share, but like just kind of hearing the process of them starting as an artist to where they've gotten to now. So it's like, I was just some kid who liked to doodle, and I remember sitting in class being that kid who just liked to doodle myself. And it's like, okay, so if I had put more time into it, could have went down a different path possibly. But like, it's just interesting to hear how I like to hear that side of things instead of just like, hey, here's this new pack, here's this new card, enjoy, see you later. I like to like kind of see behind the curtain. I want to see more about how the art's made. I want to see how I like hearing people's life stories and stuff like that. So those have been some of my favorite episodes. Getting to talk to other content creators have been a wonderful experience. But yeah, it's been a long journey. It's not for everybody. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Well, let me say this too.
It's changed a lot. I've went from 2 guys to 3, currently 4.
Well, let me just say this too. Like, it's reciprocal. I listened to your podcast from the beginning, and I'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Charles, because he is a big part of it. I really enjoyed listening to you guys' podcast. But I will say, for those of you again who have never done this, I can count on more than once, maybe 2 or 3 times, where you message me. You're like, "I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm gonna hold up the podcast." And Heath and I, one time when we were at NACC, like we're both like, "Man, crisis mode. We gotta keep Benny going." So I'm just curious, as someone who now has stepped away myself, what has compelled you to keep going?
Yeah, I will admit that when Charles was kind of dialing it back a bit, there was a couple times where I was like, like, is it done? But I'm like, I'm not really done. I want to keep going. And kind of what's definitely helped is like, well, you for sure, because you also said, hey, have you talked to Heath?
And it's true.
Like, I did mistake.
Matchmaker.
But yeah, it was like after reaching out to Heath, it was kind of like kind of like I got hit with a defibrillator. Is the best way to put it. He had a very electric personality, and it brought me back to life. But it was wonderful. It was great. And then James reaching out has also been absolutely wonderful. It's great to have people that want to come and talk about Lorcana and kind of revitalize things. And obviously nothing against Charles or anything, because we've all been through the moments of I'm tired and I just want to play the game and I want to be the person on the outside who's watching instead of the person who's reporting on it and talking about it. So, nothing against them there. We all have busy lives and we all have things that come up. That was actually another person I thought about reaching out for the 100th episode, and I kind of realized, well, it's a little too late because we've been super busy. Heath knows I like to do renovations around the house. But yeah, it's yeah, kind of just a lot of people as well. When you say like, hey, we don't have an episode this week, when you get the private message or just your Discord going, what the heck is this, man? No episode, come on. You're like, oh, okay, so people actually are, wanting another episode every week. So yeah, kind of feel like I'm letting them down if I don't put out an episode.
The Discord has been great. There's some amazing people on that base.
Sometimes I think they just want me to put an episode out so they can bash us over and over again.
Yeah. Isn't that what podcasts are for? So I can sit at home and be like, you're wrong. Come on.
That card's no good that Heath said was good. And by the way,
Oh.
Benny, stop opening other card packs.
Stop opening packs not on the channel.
Yeah.
So, Overexerted podcast episode 200. Where are you?
Oof.
That's what, 2027?
On his sixth
That would it be?
co-host.
No.
Yeah, I'll be back on Citizens of Lorcana.
I'll be dead probably by then.
Or Jared joins us and we have 4 co-hosts.
Right. Yes, definitely. You should take this established brand that you've built up, Jared, for these years and just flush.
No. I wasn't saying he becomes part of Overexerted. I was saying we merge.
Citizens of Overexerted.
No,
The
we'll just be
overexerted
Citizens of Lorcana.
Lorcana.
You guys have the great name of Citizens of Lorcana, so you can incorporate everyone. It's perfect.
There's more citizens. I have a question
Agreed.
for Jared. Speaking of kind of stepping away versus not, the question that I had is, what's something that you wish you'd been around over the last, what are we at now? Time flies. 2 months to have kind of reported on that you missed the opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that I had been more involved when they had dropped all the news. Like I said, I did watch the live cast. I wish that I could have, like James had the opportunity to get a little preview, and that would have been really cool to be a part of. And then just, okay, I will say I do miss, being around the community, knowing everything that's going around or that's going on.
I'm trying to goad you into coming back. Never mind. Go ahead.
I miss that community. I mean, yeah, I post on Twitter, but even then, over the last few weeks, I just really haven't even been posting a lot on Twitter. Like I said, so I'll just put it out there. Like, my dad passed away unexpectedly, and that really put things into perspective. Like, made me take a step back, look at things, and I just really pulled back. And now I feel like I'm finally at a point where I'm ready to start coming out again and being active, talking to people. But it really made you think about things and help put things in perspective.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's that's rough. I'm glad you're taking that opportunity for that perspective and taking a step back to think about things.
And I will say,
wish that wasn't the reason for it.
But I will say it's been very refreshing taking a break. Like, you can ask James there at the end. I was just dragging myself to get into this chair. And I don't want to say dreading every second, because when we recorded, I did enjoy it. But everything else surrounding it, it was just too much. I felt overwhelmed and burnt out. So if I were to come back or when we come back, I think I would build in breaks. Like, maybe at the end of, maybe in the middle, like the set releases, we go hard covering the set. And then kind of in the middle there, when there's like a lull, maybe take a break for a week or two. And then at the end of the set, when we have set championships, jump back in it. I think resting is really healthy for you. And I know people expect the weekly podcast, just like what you said. But at the end of the day, they'll keep coming back. And as long as if they know what you're planning on doing, they'll respect that. But for me, when I get back in the game, that's definitely going to be one of my takeaways.
Yeah. And
Marathon,
I'll be on 2
not a
podcasts.
I hope you don't have any other thing to do in your life. Oh my gosh.
That'd be
We got to do
3
a dropout
podcasts.
type thing. Yeah, you guys can be the new dropout for Lorcana.
We should do them live, Jared, when you come back.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I'd be open.
I mean, we're
to
pretty
it.
close to that right now. It's
Never
great.
ever allow me on anything live. You've heard the things you have to edit out for me.
But the thing is, Heath, like people like that, personality. I mean, if you say stuff, sure. But
I usually censor, like, I don't know if you caught me earlier with Riftbound. I censored myself. I started but didn't finish.
But people
Yeah.
like to see that you're a real human being. I mean,
That's what.
when there's a really highly polished program, like, it can almost be off-putting. But when you connect with
Yeah.
people, I mean, that's one of the things that we consistently got told when we were at NACCs or whatever. It sounds like I'm just talking to a couple of friends when I talk to you guys, when I listen to you guys. So I think people like that vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely, it kind of makes it easier. I know it breaks up the day. I've definitely listened to a bunch of podcasts that are just straight. That's all we do. Super, like you said, super polished. And it's like, I don't know what it is in my brain, but there's something that doesn't work where as soon as there's too much talking, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to need to turn on music or I'm going to fall asleep at work because this is just too much. One, like, drilling the same point, going to the same thing, super polished, super ready to go. And it's like, no, you gotta say something to make my brain wake up and laugh and go, oh, this is funny and this is okay.
Yeah, one of the podcasts I listen to that's not Lorcana related at all is How Did This Get Made? The movie podcast, and they're professionals, they're polished, but it's three friends sitting down and just going at it about these stupid movies that they watch. And the core concept is that's all it is, but they're really professional about it. So I think that it's the ones that have that polish, that don't have that personality, that don't have that you're in it because you love it, are the ones that are harder to listen to. And so, we don't have the polish, but I think we have the personality, like you said, Jared. It's what we have with Benny and Heath here is, it's just us sitting around talking about the thing that we love, the game that we love to play, and the people that we love hanging out with. And I think that that's part of the reason why. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm still doing this. When Jared was done for the time being, I was like, yeah, you know what? I need a break too. And I was running down too, but then like how long did that last? I mean,
3 weeks.
Like 3 weeks.
Say a week or two.
I was like, I got to get back to talking.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got to get back to talking. I mean, I got so used to talking every week, and it was just like, all right, I had a few weeks off, and I think I'm ready. And we get back into it, and it's still just I was going to say it's the same, but it's not, because it was different with Jared than it is with you guys, but it's still the same in
more prepared,
a little bit more prepared.
Hey, I'm all for preparedness.
A little bit, not a ton.
I'm all for preparedness too, but it needs to be a 7-cost ruby.
I'm open to more preparedness. I'm just throwing that out there.
He's wearing the Lion King shirt. I didn't even think of that.
But no, I think that's just generally
I didn't even know
like
Jared was until like an hour, 2 hours before. I'm so red right now. I'm so red.
You are very red.
There's no AC in that hotel room.
No, I've just been laughing too hard for the last.
I think that's what it was. It's like me and Jared talking. It was we got to become friends. We love talking about Lorcana, and I think that is, if that's the driving force of your podcast about Lorcana, then you're going to do fine. So tips to content creators: love what you're doing, because that's really the only way that it makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And kind of going way back to what Jared said earlier, definitely, yeah, you will have those moments, those days, and that I have had those as well, where it's like coming up to the episode, you're like, oh man, I just want to like watch a movie with my wife tonight and not record an episode and just relax. But as soon as you hit that record button and you're surrounded by your friends just chatting about the thing you love, it's like, I'm ready to go. I could go for another 5 years. And then you get back to that next week and you're like, oh, I just wanted to watch a movie tonight. I'm so tired. Let's go. It's that little boost that you need.
It's because it's there again every week. It's
Mhm.
there again,
Mhm.
and it's back. And it's every week.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so yeah, I do agree, Jared, that when you're back, I'm all for it. For seasons, every set should be a season, and we can do how many is there? 12 weeks. We can do 8-week seasons and just take the month in between off. That sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
Because if you cover the last month of a season, that gets the set championship and reveal season, and then the first month is like new meta and all these cool new cards breaking in, and then you take the middle off where everyone's just playing games and seeing what's up, and so that sounds perfect. That sounds great. Let's do that. When you next year?
Probably. I'm gonna go back to
2026
something.
goals.
I'm gonna go back to something Benny asked me, where he said if there's a piece of news that I missed covering.
Well, that was Heath.
I want to. Oh, Heath.
I was
Sorry,
willing
Heath.
to give you the credit, Benny. I wasn't going to say anything.
Here's the thing.
I'm not that good at making questions.
And I'm not trying to start a flame war. I'm really not, because I'm friends with all these people. But the apology videos for people who are commentating on Worlds, I feel like I understand what you're doing, but I wish they would stop. Like, just be proud of the fact that you were chosen and selected to commentate Worlds. You were chosen for a reason. Be proud of that. Own it. You don't need to feel bad.
Yeah.
But also argue the video that was about they should have been at Worlds. Did you watch that video? About
Which
how
one?
they thought they should have been at Worlds?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one.
There's at least one person that feels like they should have been at Worlds that isn't.
Okay,
And
yes,
made
I
a
did watch that
36-minute video about it.
I did watch that video. Yes, and I have. Anyway, yes.
I mean, I agree with the person. I thought they were great, but I'm like, don't make a 36-minute. Don't make any video about this, but don't make a 36-minute video about this. Woo!
Like, I think
I have not
everybody
seen any of them. I will not lie.
Everybody who commentated on the DLCs did fantastic. Like, all the commentators I listened to. And I imagine that is a really hard choice for Ravensburger to make. But I think at the end of the day, this is just me personally. I have no inside information. This is just my opinion. But I think Ravensburger saw the people who started with Lorcana, and they honored that. Like, everybody who's commentating, Lorcana was their first and only thing. It's not like, Lorcana, and then I'm going to bounce to some other game. Like, they grew themselves with Lorcana, and I think Ravensburger acknowledges that and rewarded that. That's just me. That's just me.
I could see
You're telling me.
I didn't.
You're telling me not to talk about other TCGs.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying.
The only one who is like not part of that original group is JDZ.
Right? Yeah.
I was happy with that
he's
selection.
like,
I thought that was a good pick.
I mean, I didn't even hear about him until a few months ago, which is basically when he started. But he broke in, and he was like all in on Lorcana, all the time.
And did he come from another game?
He played Yu-Gi-Oh before.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if he did content creation for Yu-Gi-Oh.
I think he might have, like, one of my Yu-Gi-Oh buddies was telling me about the whole JDZ Yu-Gi-Oh, and I just kind of I'm sorry. I'll admit it. When I hear about Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I'll stare at you like I'm listening, but my brain's like
kind of like when you talk about Sword Art Online. That was me earlier.
He said, I don't even know what that is.
I don't.
But I've watched JD and on his stuff, and he is, he's really good. I mean, he's personable. He fills time great. He covers the game well. He knows the game. Yep. So I mean, and that is part of Jared's point. Is it's someone who is all in on Lorcana, and he may not have been there from the beginning of Lorcana, but he's all in on Lorcana, and I think that they really appreciated that. Plus, I mean, like I said, he's just good. So why wouldn't you bring someone who's good?
And I can almost guarantee if they were held in Europe, there would be a lot more EU commentators too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Probably.
Yep. There is one thing they're missing, though. One critical piece that they're missing from their casting team: a limited specialist.
That is true.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, those first 3 rounds of super sealed. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to hear the cast. You know what? Oh, so much respect for Liam. I mean, in everything he does. But the fact that I remember it was, I think, a couple of weeks ago, he was doing his limited Monday musings with Nive and with 40 Born with Jake, and he was talking about how he's like practicing for casting the limited pieces. Like, I got to learn more about limited. I need to like brush up on my limited so that I can do it, do justice to it in casting it. I'm like, man, I guarantee you there's others that are just like, man, it's the game. I'll be fine. I'll talk about the cards. Yeah, Liam is very much a consummate professional between his card reveals, between his casting. I know he takes a lot of pride in it, and I know he also is fairly critical of himself. So I just want to share that. I think that was great.
You earned it, Liam. Be proud of yourself.
100%.
Especially like the card reveal. Wasn't he the one who did the Grand Pabby card?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually
regretted that immediately.
So that was actually one of my original plans with how I wanted to reveal the old Overexerted reveal. I wanted to dress up as Myrtle and have my friends that were going behind me. And when I went to register, I'd be like, hi, I'm here to register for the DLC. And then they go, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd go, I'd do something and then I'd go, yeah, or have them go, yeah. And then I'd turn around and have the Myrtle card to reveal. But I'd be in the full bright red wig with the big glasses. And yeah, Charles was like, let's not do that.
Charles is a wise man.
It's just, voice of reason. I usually turn those off, but.
That's Flounder, voice of reason. That sounds like James. James would do something crazy like that.
Right. Just watch out if they give me a card. Go ahead.
I stunted his creativity.
No, I think you reined me in appropriately.
I'm waiting for the red wig now, James.
I'm not no red wigs from me. No.
I don't need one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Woe is the day when they give me a card reveal all on my own.
Woe is the day.
Right.
I mean, I really want to do anything and everything, but woe is the day when they give me anything.
Well, should we crack a pack and wrap it up so Jared can get to bed before he has to wake up at 5 a.m.?
These guys are degenerates, man. I don't know.
Do you have 2 packs from your box, or did you open your box?
I opened 1 pack from the box already just a couple seconds ago.
He promised that he would open 2 packs a week for the entire season.
Okay. Here it is. Here it is.
Degenerates.
Darling dear.
Little
sister.
Uh-huh.
Jeannie.
Jeannie's good.
Jeannie's very
Scarab.
good.
Wilhelmina.
Uh-huh.
Lumiere.
I like how you hold it up like we can ever see.
Right.
Thumper.
Thumper's decent.
Yeah.
Rockford? Yes.
Yeah.
Rockford.
I'm still on
I
Jeannie.
pronounce it.
I don't know about you.
Abu. Heads held high.
Okay.
Desperate Plan.
Nice, Desperate Plan. That saved me in a game.
Shout out to Snakeinator, one of our locals. He's a real big fan of Desperate Plan in Limited. I'm mixed on it.
It saved me in a game. So I'm enjoying it.
I'm on Genie in that pack. If it's pick one, pack one, I'm on Genie. I'm shipping that to James. James, you can have the Desperate Plan.
I ordered a pack months ago from Best Buy. I ordered a pack with my trove.
Okay.
So it's from Best Buy.
Pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
After today, I'll have 20
Jared,
packs
would you
left
have
in
had
this
a different pick out of that pack? What would have been your pick? Break the tie between
He doesn't.
James and I.
He's like, I don't know. I don't remember what the cards do.
I'm trusting Heath, so I would have gone Genie.
You probably
Your-
shouldn't.
Your
Desperate Plan's
video
pretty good.
served me well in ACC, so
So Genie, well, James is opening that. Genie is 3-cost inkable 3/4 that has evasive on your turn. So already the vanilla body, but gets evasive on your turn. So that's sweet. Desperate Plan is 3-cost uninkable action that if your hand is empty, so if it's the last card in your hand, draw 3 cards. Otherwise, you just cycle cards, discard any number of cards and draw that many. So it puts you down a card if you don't have an empty hand. So it's really good if you got an empty hand. Really, really good. But yeah, you're good, James. If you got an empty hand, it's golden. If you don't have an empty hand, it's trash and it's uninkable. So great top deck. Otherwise,
Little Sister also. Genie also. Hey, look! This is what happened to me in my sealed event on Thursday. I got multiples of all the same commons. I had 2 or 3 of every common, so I didn't get a very good selection. Scarab, look at that. Same things as Benny's pack. Wilhelmina. Look, it's every single one the same.
I swear you two like transpose cards amongst yourselves.
We do, just to pick the
There you
worst
go.
cards of them all.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
There you go. There's the bomb.
Big on Arthur Unlimited. Yeah.
So you play this, right? And you hold that Desperate Plan until your hand is empty. Then you play Desperate Plan.
This plus Desperate Plan is sick game. Yes.
Zippa. Oh man, I got like 6 of these things. Yeah. 80s. Not too bad. Decent body, but unthinkable. So no go.
Again, Snakeinator loves it. I'll just give him a shout out, but I'm not interested. Yeah, I'm
Genie.
Genie again.
I don't know, James. What do you want on that pack?
Man, I don't know.
I'd probably take
that
the
would be a
Arthur
tough one.
actually.
I think I'd be on Arthur. Yeah, Genie's very good though. Very efficient.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do one last one so you and Jared can share
my
this
God.
one.
That's
Charlotte
it.
LaBeouf.
That's it.
Bruno Madrigal. The bag. M-Purse. Gaston. Oh, woof. The wardrobe.
Dump truck.
Yeah, dump truck. I pick dump truck every time.
There you go.
Uh,
Pull the lever.
Pull the
Pull
lever.
the lever. Pull the lever. Was that Trials and
Can't
Tribulations?
I read it?
Yeah,
That's it.
Trials
Trials
and
and
Tribulations.
Tribulations. Drune?
The drone. No. Still pull the
And-
lever. Pull the lever.
Sounds like you really like Pull the Lever. I'm on Pull the Lever as well, but I'm
No,
not as
Pull the
excited
Lever.
as you are.
Nope, Ka. I changed to Ka.
Yeah, Ka. I would take Ka over Pull the Lever as well.
Oh yeah, Ka is great.
oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you for
Oh, too good.
All right.
So
All right.
I do want to talk about one last thing.
Oh, come on. Let's go.
Going back to limited.
Okay.
I did do one more limited event on Tuesday. Yes, on Tuesday, and I drafted a Pinocchio, the legendary, a Goofy legendary, and I grabbed as many Lena Saberwings as I possibly could, and I was only happy to get one thing off. You got 2 Lenas out. You've got Pinocchio out. You've got Goofy out. You quest your Pinocchio. You can ping the Lena to do 1 damage to their thing. You ping your Pinocchio to do 1 damage to your Pinocchio. And then Goofy heals him and readies him, and you get to draw a card off of that.
Isn't it just once per turn?
Yeah, it says once per turn
Pinocchio's
when he
ability.
readies.
Yeah,
But-
so wouldn't you draw extra at the start of your turn?
Yeah, but like the turn before I hadn't quested him or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because he had an evasive out. And so I
I
hadn't
mean, that's
quested him. And
pretty
I was
good
like,
tech
next turn.
if it's the first turn. Yeah.
Yeah. It was late into the game though, and the game was almost over, and I was like, I just want to do this to get this off. There we go. I draw my
Just
card.
protecting him
and-
for the turn is great.
Yeah. Oh, it felt so good. But that Goofy was so nice to have, where you just swing into as much stuff as you can. Goofy doesn't have to be exerted, so I would argue better than Simba.
So, Jared, if I'd known before I was literally driving to the ferry and then to the hotel that you were going to be on tonight, I would have prepped you with this ahead of time. But I'll give it to you, and maybe we can edit out time for you to reflect if you need it. But at the end of every episode, we try to do a moment of gratitude just to keep positivity in the space, because sometimes we get a little judgy. And so I just was wondering, I know you haven't had as much connection to the community as you'd like over the last couple of months, but is there anything that stood out for you? And you kind of alluded to something earlier, but you know, whether you want to talk about more about that or something else, just anything in the community space, whether it be digitally or, you know, in person at your local scene or anything like that, that you feel particularly grateful for.
Yeah, no,
over the last little
exactly.
while.
Exactly what you said. I've had multiple people reach out to me and ask, you know, how he's doing. Even people who weren't aware of what happened, when they just noticed that I had gone silent in posting, they would reach out and be like, hey, I just want to make sure everything was okay. You know, those are the people that you really appreciate, because they took the time out of their day to check on you when they didn't have to. I mean, they weren't doing it for anything for themselves. You know, they were just doing it as a human to human. So I'm grateful, and all of you who have done so, you know who you are. I'm grateful for all those people, because even though you know, I've had about 1 million people say, you know, if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. And I haven't, because I have people to talk with. But I'm grateful for those who have taken the opportunity to reach out to me. Like, it means a lot. So yes, that's what I'm grateful for.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Jared. Thank you for tuning in, everybody else, and joining us as well. You can find us on Discord, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts, as well as X, Twitter. I think we're going to be joining Blue Sky soon. I don't know. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. We're watching you. We're everywhere.
Always watching.
Always watching. Yes.
And again, congrats on 100. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you. 100 down. 12
At least
to go.
5 more to go.
No. Somebody told me that Citizens of Lorcana made it to 111, so we have to get to 112, and then we're out.
Shots
So
fired.
Look for our next 12 episodes.
I can't think of a better podcast to overpass us. So,
Benny, you said we're everywhere, but what's the name of the podcast that is everywhere?
And the podcast name is Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast, brought to you by no, that's not the name, but Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast. So if you are looking for us and you don't like us and you want to leave a negative comment, that's where you look. If you do like us,
negative comment, find us at Podcana at.
Oh, but
that's an
you for joining
example of
us.
one of those comments, Heath.
Join us again soon.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you next week. Thanks for coming on.